everybody. Here's Natalie Esser from Solutions One. I'm your healer of hearts, and today I'm talking about darkness, shadow, and fear. So, why would a healer of hearts that is supposed to talk about rainbows and angels talk about that dark stuff? Well, actually, if you really want to heal your heart, you have to face your shadows, darkness, your fears, sooner or later, cause you cannot become whole and balanced again when you suppress, deny, or fear all that you dislike. As a healer of hearts, I have no enemies. There might be people hating me, but I, myself, I know no enemies. And how come? Well, we have to be and own all that we fear, and darkness is nothing but all that you didn't allow into your heart. It is all that you have separated yourself from. So the most shadiest characters in my life have been people that, well, seem to be loving and kind, but they have had such a huge shadow, and all of them have been so afraid of the dark. And I am not. I love all that is. I love my enemy. There is no greater power than love. So, as a healer of hearts, I try to help you get to this point where you integrate your dark aspects, and thereby, by allowing all in, you will become invincible. By having no protection, you will need no protection anymore, because you are one with life itself. When my daughter was small and little, she asked me about God, to explain her what God is. And I remember when I answered that God is all that is, because the divine is living in all, in everything. So when the divine lives in all and everything, why did I fear things? That is something I understood much later. So I've got to tell you that I used to be really afraid of spiders, for example. Not just afraid, I really had a phobia. Phobia in English? I guess that's phobia. Yeah. I totally freaked out if there would be just the tiniest little small spider anywhere around. It could be in the other side of the apartment. I couldn't go to sleep with this spider around me. So the universe is loving and kind. And, well, I remember I had this friend at that time who always asked me, how can you be afraid of something that you can kill between two fingers? I knew he was right. Mentally, I knew that. But when you are so afraid of something, your mind ain't working anymore. So the universe was so loving and so kind to one day send me a huge black monster spider in my living room, just walking up the wall. And you know, when they are walking, and they are much bigger than they are already, and no one could kill that between their fingers. Goodness. So I knew I couldn't live with that monster in the house, cause she might be, well, really dangerous, could bite me or something like that. So I knew I had to do something, and my inner voice said, okay, you've got to kill her. And so I took myself a huge boot and stood there, but you know, I was so afraid, I was so afraid, I was so afraid, and I I said, I can't do that. And then I answered with another voice. I told myself, you have to. And so I yelled and killed the spider that was so huge that the long legs still looked out on the left and right of the huge wood. And when I had killed her, something really strange happened. Of course, I thought at that spider, and huge wave of love has been running through my body. It felt like golden light. It's the same energy I'm transmitting now when I'm giving the rose touch. It's been one of the rare occasions in my life where I had connected with this energy before, and the other occasion has been also connected with huge trauma and fear. So how could that be? I had just taken a life, because I knew God is living in a spider also. And how could I feel love? Well, I think this spider came. Maybe she was an old grandma spider and allowed to be killed by me to heal this wound. Because from this very day, my fear of spider went much, much better. And over the years, I relaxed very much. I still love kitten more than spiders, but yeah, I'm not afraid. Yeah, I just would look that if they are poisonous, yeah, of course, you have to be careful, but I wouldn't freak out because of a spider. So there is nothing that is alive that is not connected with all that is. So all that is living in everything. So when we are afraid of things, we are disconnecting ourselves from source. And that is the reason why we have to look into the darkness. What is dark? Dark is what is unknown, unwanted, unseen. And we have to allow it, integrate it, and thereby we take its power away. The moment when you look your fear in the eye and you just stand there and just don't freak out, don't fight it, don't run away, don't kill it. Next time, won't kill it. But this time I did. And just look at it and allow it. It is a part of creation, just like you. The moment you fear something, you give your power away. Really, you do. Then a tiny, tiny little spider is more powerful than a huge, strong being. When you fear it, your fear gives your power away. And yeah, I told you about some shady characters in my life. You know what they feared? They feared darkness, why they carried it themselves. And, when I was a little girl, I got a nickname, and my nickname was Little Witch, because I had some abilities that the adults couldn't explain. Later I learned to hide that, but of course it's been true, and I've been a very, very loving and kind creature all my life, when there's no huge spider coming along. And I was always very gentle and kind and loving and positive as much as I could. But one day I met one of my dark sisters, and that's been also when my daughter has been small, and we went into the supermarket, and it was somehow there have been lots of people in the supermarket, and I knew what would happen the next second, but I couldn't prevent it somehow. I saw on my inside how my daughter would stretch her hand out and lay it onto the basket of a woman coming along, and she would hiss at my daughter. And I saw it, and the second later this happened exactly the way I have foreseen it, but couldn't prevent it. And the woman that hissed at my child, she has been one of my dark sisters. Women using these powers for destructive stuff, not for healing, but for power, money, whatever. And so, for a while, whenever I met this woman, she seemed to be so much stronger than I. When I came around a corner, she already knew that I'm there. She turned around and smiled at me with a cruel smile. She showed me her power. And well, we're all afraid of the darkness. So I believed she has power. Until one day, We were going on a holiday, and I just went into the supermarket where I always met her, um, to keep us some stuff, and I have been in such a good mood. Yeah, I was like a little little girl, yeah, very playful and full of fun and joy on this morning. And there she came along, and I thought, my goodness, what would happen if I just sent her, when she can read my mind? Well, I will send her pictures of pink elephants with lilac points on it, dancing on the street. And with that picture, I started laughing, and I did it. And I didn't stop, even when I left the supermarket. And from that day on, when this woman came along, she looked down on the ground, because darkness is all about power, and she had lost her power over me. The light is so much stronger than darkness, so why fear darkness? I'm an energy healer. I'm highly sensitive to energies, and all my life I could feel that darkness is nothing but just a very raw energy. So if you are holding the light within you, as every being is holding the light within them, even the most shadiest, cruelest character is holding light within them. They just dislike it. The way the light ones dislike darkness. Yeah, when you're holding this light and it is so strong within you, why would you fear it? See, darkness seems to be so strong. That's like, when darkness would be an instrument, it would be a drum, and you can play a violin. So why would a violin be afraid of a drum? Someone playing a violin can also play a drum, maybe, but the drummer might not be able to play a violin. That's the difference between dark energy and light energy. It's just different vibrations and energies, and in the end, you are all of it. And healing is nothing but balance. You are whole again when you are healed. You are in a state of total balance. I'm an energy healer, and when something is out of balance, I have to bring in balance. But did you ever look at a yin-yang sign? Light and darkness are one, and the white has a black spot, and the black side has a white spot within. When you want to be healed and complete, you cannot run away from darkness. There's no way to be a healed, happy, balanced being while just expressing one of both sides of duality. You have to move beyond it. And how to be that? Whatever you fear, you have to embrace it. You have to own it. You have to be it. And now, don't be afraid in case you have fear of spiders. This is just a cuddle toy. So the ones that are really afraid might now look the other way around. But yeah, in the end, you just have to own it all. Be it all. The dark side. See, it's just, in the past I wouldn't be able to do that, even if it's just a little toy. But it is just a toy. You might find your way to make contact with all that you fear and not give your power away to something that is just an outer sign, just an outer attribute. Be afraid of darkness, of dark magic. If you are the light, no dark magic can touch you. And if you are one with all of creation, so how could a spider haunt you? I know that's deep stuff, but think about it and try to make peace with all that is, because love is all that is. May you be healed, loved, and healthy.